Hi everybody, my name is Rupa, working as assistant professor in Chevrolet Engineering College. I'm dealing the subject electrical machines 2 for second year EEE R16 R19 batch. Unit 2. The name of the topic today is construction of circle diagram. Lecture 8. So before going to the construction of circle diagram, we are aware that we have to know the no load test parameters and block rotor test parameters. Okay, so far you have discussed about this test, no load test and block rotor test. Now in the block rotor test, you are having the following, you are finding the 4 parameters, and regarding that 4 parameters, you have to see one problem in block rotor test. After seeing the problem in block rotor test, you will go to the construction of circle diagram. Okay, so with these parameters, what we are finding in no load test and block rotor test, we are going to construct the circle diagram. Okay, so see the block rotor test problem first. So first see the example A. This is a problem on block rotor test. Okay, so A, 110 volts 3-phase star connected induction motor takes 25 amperes at a line voltage of 30 volts with the rotor locked. Okay, and with this line voltage, power input to motor is with this line voltage of 30 volts, the power input to the motor is given as 440 watts and core loss is 40 watts. Okay, the DC resistance between a pair of stator terminals is 0.1 ohms resistance, and the ratio of AC to DC resistance is 1.6. Okay, so this is most useful, 1.6. Find the equivalent leakage reactance per phase of the motor and stator and rotor resistance per phase. Okay, so first we have to find out X01 leakage reactance, equivalent leakage reactance of the motor. Okay, so first we have to find X01, and after that stator and rotor resistances R1 and R2 all are per phase only. We have to find out in per phase only. Okay, so see here we are having 30 volts. Okay, so this is given for 3-phase. We have to convert it into per phase. So per phase means 30 by root 3. So the line voltage is 30 by root 3, that is 17.3 Vs. At the same time, it is star connected. So every line has a amperes of 25. So it is given in per phase only. So directly Is is equal to 25 amperes per phase. Okay, from this impedance Z is V by I, that is equal to 17.3 by 25. So all these voltage and current what we have found or what we have calculated are per phase only. So we will get the impedance in also per phase. Okay, so impedance is equal to 17.3 V by I, 25 amperes. That is equal to 0.7 per phase. For finding out X01, we have to need Z and R. That's why we are finding the values of Z. Okay, next. The losses given are here. Motor power input is 440 volts, and from that core losses is 40 volts. So the stator and core losses are given, iron losses are given as 40 watts. So what are the remaining losses? Copper losses. Okay, so input is equal to core losses plus stator copper loss plus rotor copper loss. From that we can analyze the formula of stator rotor copper loss as input minus core losses. Okay, so input is 440 volts and core loss is 40 watts. So total 440 minus 40, 400 watts. Okay, so we know that stator and rotor copper losses is 3I square R. Okay, from that you have to find out the resistance, primary equivalent resistance, because we have to find out the equivalent leakage reactance. So equivalent leakage reactance is X01, right? So we have to, in the formula of X01, we have to find out the R01 and Z01. Z01 is found here. And next we have to find R01. R01 is simply nothing but equivalent resistance of stator. Okay, so for finding out the stator, for finding out the R01, we know that stator copper loss is 400. Stator and rotor copper loss is 400 watts. So stator, actually the formula for stator and rotor copper losses will be 3I square R01. From this we can find out the value of R01. So 3I square, I is 25 amperes, R01 is equal to stator copper loss value 400 watts. So R01 is equal to 400 by 3 into 25 square, that is 625. So R01 is equal to total 0.21 ohms. Right? So now there is a clear way for finding X01. X01 is equal to root of Z01 whole square minus R01 whole square. So X01 is equal to Z01 value is 0.7 and R01 is 0.21 squares. So another formula, we will get leakage reactance per phase as 0.668. Okay, so now we have to find out the value of AC resistance per phase of stator and rotor. Okay, so now we know that the value of DC resistance, the DC resistance between a pair of stator terminals is 0.1. So for a pair it is 0.1 DC. So for one terminal it is 0.1 by 2, that is equal to 0.05. Okay, so the value of DC resistance per phase of stator is 0.05. Now the given ratio to AC to DC is 1.6. So if you multiply this 1.6 with DC resistance, you will get the stator resistance per phase. Okay, so see here, 0.05 into 1.6, stator resistance AC resistance per phase is 0.05 into ratio 1.6, that is equal to 0.08. That is the stator resistance. Now rotor resistance is nothing but referred to stator is nothing but R2. When it is referred to stator, it is called as R2 dash. So what is the value? Total resistance you know is 0.21. Equivalent resistance R01 is equal to R1 plus R2 dash. From this we can find out R2 dash as R01 minus R1. Okay, so R2 dash is equal to 0.21 R01 minus R1 0.08. So the effective resistance per phase of rotor as referred to stator is 0.13 ohms. Okay. Now we will go to the main topic. Construction of circle diagrams. Okay, so how we construct the circle diagram? So in previous classes we have seen lot of some of the procedures. Now we will see step by step the procedure how to construct a circle diagram. Okay, so first this involves a series of steps. There are total 3 steps for drawing the construction of circle diagram, and after seeing the procedure we will go into the problems. Okay, so first, so we can draw the circle diagram of an induction motor from the steps we have analyzing, from the steps we are analyzing. So these steps mainly are obtained from first one, no load test, and second one, short circuit test or blocker rotor test, and third one is stator resistance test. Okay, so from these three tests we are analyzing the data and we are combining to draw a circle diagram, to construct a circle diagram, right? So first we will go to step one. Okay, so in step one, see here, from the no load test, we will be calculating I naught and phi naught. So from the no load test, I naught, no load current, and no load phase angle, phi naught, I naught and phi naught will be known. Okay, so with some phase angle phi naught, we have to draw the magnitude of I naught. As shown in the figure here, vector for I naught can be laid off lagging of phi naught behind the applied voltage V here. Okay, so it seems that when you observe the V here, when you observe the V vector and I naught vector, it seems to be I naught is lagging somewhat to phase angle phi naught with respect to V, right? So with respect to V here, with respect to applied voltage, V here is applied voltage. So with respect to V, I have to draw an magnitude of I naught. What is the lagging angle? That is phi naught. This one is the phi naught. Okay, so with angle phi naught, I have to draw I naught. Next, this is step one. Next, coming to step two. So this is a step two. From blocker rotor test, or it is also called as short circuit test, right? Okay, blocker rotor test is also called as short circuit test, remember. From blocker rotor test or short circuit test, the short circuit current, this is the short circuit current, the short circuit current ISN, it is found, it is calculated corresponding to normal voltage, and phi s are found, it is also, the phi s is also found. Okay, so from the blocker rotor test, we are having ISN. This is a angle with an phi s. Okay, so here the vector OA will be representing ISN. See here in the diagram. See here in the diagram. OA, the vector line OA, it represents ISN. This dotted lines OA, this represents ISN. Okay, so this ISN, you are getting the slope as the altitude is ISV by VS. Okay, so the magnitude of ISN, that is, but the magnitude of OA vector is IS by VS. Okay, and O dash A vector here, O dash A vector. This is O dash A vector, this is normal line. OA vector is dashed line and O dash A vector is normal line. So this represents rotor current I2 dash. This represents rotor current I2 dash as referred to stator. Okay, so this is representing the rotor current I2 dash. It is referred to stator. So from this we can say that clearly the 2 points O dash and A will be lined on the circle. Okay, we have to assume, we have to consider, we have to come to the point that this O dash and A will be lying on the circle. That is, O dash A will be starting and A will be lying on the circumference of the circle. Okay, so now the main aim we have to find out is the center of the circle C. So here in the diagram, we can see the center circle C here. Okay, so for our the main aim is to find the circle center C. Okay, so for finding the center C of this circle, chord O dash A. Chord O dash A is bisected at right angles. Chord O dash A is bisected at right angles. Okay, so its bisector, when we bisect the chord O dash A, this is called as chord of the circle. Okay, so when we bisect the chord of the circle at right angle, see here at 90 degrees, when we bisect with these dotted lines, it bisects the chord O dash A and it gives the point C here. Okay, so the diameter O dash D is drawn perpendicular to voltage vector. This O dash D is perpendicular to the voltage vector. Okay, so this chord O dash D, that nothing but the diameter O dash D, from here to here the O dash D exists. So it is drawn perpendicular to the voltage vector, 90 degrees perpendicular to the voltage vector. Okay, clearly see here how we are getting the center of the circle. If the chord O dash A is bisected at 90 degrees angle, you are getting point C. Okay, so this is center. OC dash is equal to CD. Nothing but. So now we will get the diameter of the circle. So this is drawn, O dash D is drawn perpendicular to the voltage vector. So how we are taking the scale of these current vectors means the scale of the current vectors is nothing but diameter. It is greater than 25 centimeters. Okay, so because why we are taking this diameter greater than 25 centimeters, because the performance data of the motor will be accurate from the circle diagrams. The performance from the circle diagrams, we have to know the performance of the motor. So if you take like this, the diameter greater than 25 centimeters, we will get the performance of the motor by seeing the circle diagram in a perfect manner. So what you are getting, the values from the circle diagram will be accurate if you do like this. Okay, now we have located the center C, right? So O dash A chord, this chord is bisected at right angles. Bisected means drawing a line at right angle. So we are now getting the center of the C. Okay, so with C is equal to center of radius, with C as center, CO dash as radius, a circle is drawn. Right? So see here, with C as center, and what is the radius? O dash C as radius, a semicircle is drawn here. Okay, so O dash A line is called as output line. This chord O dash A is called as output line. Okay, all the voltage vectors to this line are drawn vertical. All vertical distance represents active or power or energy components of the currents. All the vertical distances, here, these are the vertical distances from this horizontal O point, OPKG line. All the vertical distances represents active or power or energy components of the currents. Okay, and remember, all the voltage vectors are drawn vertically. Okay, suppose example I will say vertical component of O dash P. Suppose if you take the vertical component here, this is the vertical component O dash P. If you take this, the vertical component O dash P of no load current O dash. So this is the no load current O dash. So this is the no load current vector O dash I naught. Okay, so this O dash P, it represents no load inputs. O dash P will be representing the vertical component of O dash is O dash P. Okay, so this is O dash P is vertical to the current vector, no load current vector. Okay, so what will be the representation of O dash P means it represents the no load input which supplies core loss, friction and windage losses, and with that also a small amount of stator I square R loss. Okay, so what is O dash P representing? It gives, it supplies core losses, first one, and friction and windage losses, and a small amount of stator loss also, I square R. Okay. So here O dash P will be representing the no load input which supplies core losses, friction losses, and small amount of stator I square R loss. And next the vertical component. See here AG. AG, the vertical component AG of short circuit current OA. This is the OA, this is the short circuit current. So this vector is having a vertical line AZ. O dash O vector line is having a vertical line O dash P, right? So now this OA is having some vector line. This will be giving motor input on short circuit. This is total motor input on short circuit, AG. Okay, nothing but fixed loss plus stator copper loss plus rotor copper loss. All gives all. If you sum all, you will get the motor input on short circuit. Okay, so this is all we are having the procedure in step 2. Next, coming to step 3. Okay, so in step 3, we have to draw the torque line. This torque line will be separating rotor and stator copper losses. Okay, so when the rotor is locked, means when the rotation is slowed down or completely stopped. When the rotation of the rotor is slowed down or the rotation is completely stopped, this is called as rotor locking. So when the rotor is locked, all the power which is supplied to the motor will be going to meet. Okay, so the power input given to the motor will be meeting core losses and copper losses in stator and rotor windings. Okay, so when the rotor is stopped rotating, the power which is going to the induction motor will be overcoming core losses, copper losses in the stator and rotor windings. So from this we say that power input is directly proportional to AG. Okay, so see here that power input is nothing but AG. So because as the rotor is stopped, the motor gets the input to overcome rotor copper loss, stator copper loss, and fixed loss. So from this I can say that motor power input is directly proportional to AG. It gives the motor input. Okay, so out of this FG, if you take FG, it is nothing but OP dash line. OP dash, nothing but FG is equal to, sorry, O dash P. FG is equal to O dash P. FG will be representing fixed losses. That is stator core loss and friction and windage losses. Okay, stator copper core loss and friction and windage loss. What are the fixed losses? What are the fixed losses? Rotor copper loss and stator copper loss are variable loss. This will be changing with respect to the rotor, stator and the load. What are the fixed losses we are having? Stator core loss and friction and windage losses. These three losses are fixed losses. Okay, so 1 minute. So see here, we are getting the O dash P is equal to FG fixed losses, and AF, if you see here AF, these are sum of stator and rotor copper loss. If you see the circle diagram, AF out of AG, AF is rotor copper loss plus stator copper loss. So the point E will be such that I can write the coordinates of point E such that, see here the formula exists. E The point for E is AE by EF is equal to nothing but AE means rotor copper loss. AE by EF, rotor copper loss by stator copper loss. So this O dash E, see here, this O dash E, this line is called as torque line. This O dash E line is called as torque line. So this torque line, how you are how the torque line is representing, once you see here torque line, this is separating stator and rotor copper loss. So starting I said the torque line will be separating the stator and rotor copper loss. So in between stator and rotor copper loss, you are having the torque line. Below we are having stator copper loss, and above you are having rotor copper loss, right? So now the main aim to separate this rotor and stator copper loss is we have to draw the torque line. So for drawing the torque line, we have to know the point E, right? This point E should be known. This point E should be known. So how to locate point E is, there is other procedure. Okay, we have to locate the point E here. On AF line, we have to point E. So when we join O dash E, you will get the torque line. So this point E should be located in some procedure. So the procedure will be different for squirrel cage rotor and wound rotor. Okay, the point E will be located differently. There is a procedure for squirrel cage induction motor and slip ring induction motor. Now we will see for squirrel cage induction motor. So for squirrel cage rotor, how the point E will be located. Okay. So see here, we have to locate the point E, and now for squirrel cage rotor, we have to locate the point E. So see here, the stator resistance per phase is equal to R1 is found from stator resistance test. We have to conduct one test other than no load test and blocker rotor test. Okay, that is stator resistance test. From this stator resistance test, you will know the value of stator resistance R1. Right, that is the first one. Now the short circuit motor input WS. Short circuit motor input WS is nothing but motor copper losses. Only motor copper losses, because we are neglecting the motor iron losses. At the short circuit, we are neglecting the motor iron losses. So remaining loss is nothing but copper loss. So entirely the short circuit motor input will be depending upon the motor copper loss only. Okay, so now we know that motor copper loss is comprising of rotor and stator copper losses. Both we are having. So from this, stator copper loss is equal to 3Is square R1. So stator, that's why I am putting R1. And rotor copper loss. So we don't know the rotor copper loss. So actually, motor input is equal to stator copper loss plus rotor copper loss. We know the value of input and stator copper loss. From that formula, we can find the rotor copper loss formula. So rotor copper loss is equal to input minus stator copper loss. So input is WS minus stator copper loss is 3Is square R1. Okay, so from this, AE by AF. See here, AE by EF will be equal to, AE is nothing but rotor copper loss. Okay, AE is nothing but rotor copper loss. So EF is stator copper loss. If I substitute the formulas, AE by EF, rotor copper loss by stator copper loss. So rotor copper loss is omega S WS minus 3Is square R1, and stator copper loss is 3Is square R1. From this, you will get the point E. So this is the procedure for squirrel cage rotor. Now we will see the procedure for slip ring rotor. So here, wound rotor or slip ring rotor. So in this case, rotor and stator resistances per phase are R2 and R1. This is the rotor resistance R2 and stator resistance R1. So in this case, we can find this easily. We can find them R1 and R2 easily. So for stator and rotor currents I1 and I2, we can write, see here, for stator and rotor currents I1 and I2, we can write AE by EF is equal to rotor copper loss by stator copper loss. So rotor copper loss means how we have to write rotor parameters. So all the rotor parameters are taken as 2 and stator parameters are taken as 1. Okay, so rotor parameter means rotor copper loss by stator copper loss. Rotor copper loss is I square R2. Sorry, I2 square R2. Stator copper loss is 1. We have to represent 1 stator. So I1 square R1. These are the copper losses. So from this, if you take out common I2 by I1 whole square, if you write like this, we know the transformation ratio I2 by I1 is K. Okay, so in the place of I2 by I1, I can put K. Okay, so see here, I1 by I2 is K here. Because N2 by N1, V2 by V1, E2 by E1, all will be taking as K as 2 by 1, rotor by stator. But for current, we have to take 1 by 2. Okay, so I1 by I2 is nothing but K. Okay, so here mistake, 1 by K is I1 by I2. Okay, I1 by I2 is equal to K. Okay, this is not correct. K is equal to I1 by I2. Okay, so from here we can say that K is equal to I1 by I2. So R2 by R1, it becomes 1 by K square. Okay, 1 by K square, that is equal to, if you rearrange this, R2 by K square by R1. Okay, so R2 by K square means I can write R2 dash. So R2 dash formula is R2 dash is equal to R2 by K square. So I can put in place of R2 by K square R2 dash. So R2 dash by R1. So R2 dash is nothing but equivalent rotor resistance per phase by stator resistance. Okay, so the value of K is found from short circuit test by using 2 ammeters both in stator and rotor circuits. So the value of K, how we will find by putting the ammeters in